Hello, welcome to the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And today we're going to talk about this very powerful super full moon in Aquarius at at 19-degree point in Aquarius. And the five top things that I feel that are significant about this full moon. So if you're watching this as a video, I usually give a minute or two for the live people to come in. And so I'll say a few quick hellos and we'll jump right into it. And by the way, I don't know if I sound any different or better, but I have a new microphone. Those of you that were with me on Sunday know that my Blue Yeti has gone into spirit. So I got a Rode NT Mini. So that's my new microphone. And so far I like it. So anyway, hi, Chris. Hi, Christine. Hi, Suzette. Hi, Doreen. And if anybody else is here, if anybody else is coming in, people may be a little bit late picking up on their notification. I'm going to have another drink of peppermint and dive right on in. There's a lot to talk about. I don't want this to be too long today. So basically, let me see. Do I have all the right notes with me? Why do I feel like I don't have the right notes? It might help if I had the right notes. Okay. Ta-da-da. Quick switch. There we go. This is the right one. Yes. Okay. Now we're ready to go, and a couple new people came in during that time. So basically, the way I'm getting the information through about the different events. So we do these live events when there's a full moon, a new moon, and other important events going on. Is I'll get messages from spirit, and I'll combine that with what I know with astrology and numerology. I'll flash another video for you that Sharita started about the triple alignment and this full moon. So she did this at the beginning of the month. The triple alignment, by the way, is the North Node lining up with Uranus and Mars. That peaked on August the 1st, July 31st, right around then. Uranus and the North Node are still pretty much going neck and neck. Mars is starting to pull a little bit off that alignment, but it's still quite active. So at the end of the video, if you want to get some more astrological, numerological insight into this full moon in more detail, then you can go to that video. And it's pinned to the top of the live comment stream. So so number one, so there's five important things. Number one thing about this full moon is that it is a period of accelerated evolution. I just did 5 hours of reading, so excuse me if I'm a little bit light in the head here. Accelerated evolution, and basically there's a big influx of light affecting the planet. Now that's been kind of going on incrementally for a number of years now, but we're really getting a huge influx. One reason for that, we had a very powerful Lionsgate portal this year. I've got all kinds of stuff on that on the channel. But basically every year we come into this position where the earth is positioned in a certain way with some other factors. I'll say I don't want to spend a lot of time, but every year we go into this very solar, because it's the heart of the sign Leo, heart solar portal, and that's helping to exacerbate the light and the energy that's hitting the planet. So very accelerated energy. This is a Uranus guided full moon because it's in the sign Aquarius. So what Uranus is doing, that's the planet of revolution. That's the planet of innovation. It's also connected to technology. It's also connected to groups, especially groups of like-minded people and spiritual and evolving people. So Uranus is guiding this full moon. Uranus just happens to be T-squaring the moon and the sun. So a full moon is a sun-moon opposition. That's why it's full, because it's on opposite sides of us. And Uranus is T-squaring. So the squares add tension. So there's a lot of like energetic tensions. Now, Also, Uranus is involved in the Grand Cross. That's when there's four different entities that are all squaring each other, all at 90 degrees. So that would be the north and the south node. Uranus is in 18 degrees Taurus, so that's an exact conjunction with the north node. The south node is always opposite the north node. Then you have the moon on one side of the Grand Cross and the sun on the other. And there's a couple of other planets making little cameo appearances affecting that, Saturn being one of them. Mars to a lesser degree, but Mars is involved also. So this is a lot of energy that we're dealing with right now. So I have notes. That's why I keep looking down. Uranus is about groups, higher minds, social evolution, and reform. Social evolution, revolution, reform. Big energies right around now. It's going to create disruptions, but that's part of it, the evolution. The tower has to fall to be rebuilt. The society that's not working for most people needs to fall. And that's part of the evolutionary and revolutionary process. But the thing is, we've got to be okay. We've got to be ready to evolve and grow. And our subconscious mind resists that because that's just part of a survival instinct, basically, that we have. The subconscious resists change. We have to go into our presence, our meditation, and allow that to happen. So we must be ready to evolve. We've got to be okay with that. We've got to be okay with just kind of saying goodbye to the old and embracing the new, and doing work every day to enhance your spirituality, to connect more with spirit or God or the quantum field, whatever word, source or whatever. And also, I may have made this as a separate note, but if not, it's him like a separate. I just wrote this out less than an hour ago. But look for like a lot of innovations with technology as part of this energy, artificial intelligence, medical technology. I think we're going to see some big innovation. So the idea is we are, as human beings, in an accelerated evolutionary process right now. The way my guides explained it, and this was about 5 or 6 years ago, mind you, it's gotten even stronger now, that humans are evolving in the space of about 10 years what would normally take 1,000 years of evolution. That may be a slight exaggeration, but you get the idea. So as we evolve, we become more spiritual. We connect more with spirit. We start to use more of our brains. Our DNA starts to activate that's been dormant. We start to develop new abilities. That's evolution. We have abilities we're not even aware of yet. A few people are, but most aren't. To heal our bodies, to heal our minds, to transmute matter, to manifest things in our lives, to slow down the aging process, to be able to bilocate, in other words, to send etheric doubles, to remote view, to talk to spirits. All these things is part of evolution as we get, we're only, we're still fairly primitive. We're basically like have been crawling for the last 2,000 years. We're starting to learn how to walk now. So that's the level of evolution. This full moon is kicking it into overdrive. So be ready for that. That's number one. Number two, brilliant ideas. You can become very innovative during this time. Think outside of the box. This is very important. So Mercury is coming into a trine with Uranus. It'll be peaking, I think, around, I don't know, the 15th or 16th, in a few days. So as Mercury gets involved with Uranus is really the higher octave of Mercury. It's the same energy, but in a different octave. So Mercury is more like involving the personal mind, where Uranus is universal mind. So the personal mind and the universal mind come into a harmonious angle. And when that happens, ideas start to flood. So it's nice to journal if you get any innovation between now and the next new moon. And by the way, I probably should have put this one up on the comments too, but check back with also the new moon video that I did 2 weeks ago, that sets the template for the entire lunar cycle. So everything that I said in that video is going to be relevant for the full moon also. I'll have that posted on the pinned comments when this becomes a video. All right, I think I can move on from that. So number 3, revolution is in the air. We see it everywhere. The systems are falling, radical change. This is part of this energy. Again, Uranus with that T-square and that grand cross. Uranus likes to shake things up. Uranus thinks outside the box. Uranus innovates. We can connect more with groups of like-minded people. That should be, I don't want to say priority, but something that's kind of high on the list, like finding your groups and your tribes, people that have similar beliefs, people that want to see the same changes in the world that you want to see, and the same changes in consciousness. So what did we write down here? Uranus, T-square, and grand cross. We talked about that. Saturn is conjuncting the moon almost exactly. Saturn rules the structures. Uranus is almost like anti-structure in a way. So it's sort of like these kind of opposing forces, where Saturn works to maintain the structures, Uranus works to tear them down and rebuild stronger or more sound structures. If that's the way of saying that. And also, interestingly, well, Mars is also in a weak conjunction. It's about 5 or 6 degrees off a direct conjunction right now. It's moved up onto, I think, 23 or 24 degrees Taurus now. Mars is going to come into Gemini later in the month and sit in Gemini for 7 months. So that's going to add a lot. Gemini is also Mercury, so that's also the mind, but it's also about duality and the split in society. But we'll save that for the new moon video because it's going to be more relevant then. So so Neptune is also very much involved. Did I write that down? Yes, Mars and Neptune sextile, which adds fuel, because Neptune is also sometimes about secrets and again about intuition, dreams. So these aspects are really going to kick that revolutionary energy up. Expect more protests. It's important that we stay in our lane and we stay in the eye of the storm, as Sharita often tells us. So yeah, these Uranus aspects, and of course, again, the full moon is in the sign Aquarius. Uranus rules that. So what Uranus is doing in this full moon carries extra weight. And again, Uranus wants to shake it up. Uranus doesn't want the order. Uranus wants to kind of obliterate everything and kind of again build on a stronger foundation. So higher mind stuff, idealism takes hold, and people just aren't going to really be taking or necessarily believing everything that's told to us in the news and the media and the status quo, especially when there's significant evidence that says that you don't really hear all the news in the news. It's more like what they want us to hear. And that leads us to point number 4. Truths get revealed. Secrets come to life. Again, that Uranus energy really shakes that up. But that Neptune energy, because Neptune's about secrets, also coming into play. And Mars is about energy. So there's a lot of energy that's going to go into revealing secrets. And they sextile. It's a favorable aspect. So they work together in a nice way. Now, understand also 19 degrees, it's solar ruled. It's a 1 in numerology. Also in the tarot, 19 is the sun card. And of course, the sun is in Leo. Leo is a solar ruled sign. So the sun, next to Uranus, the sun is the second most important thing. Well, the sun never goes retrograde. The sun always advances about a degree per day and stuff like that. But the sun is about light. What does light do? It shines into the darkness. It reveals things that are hidden. So the sun can shine into those deep crevices that either on a personal level that's hidden in our subconscious and is obstructing your own growth and evolution. So things that are obstructing our personal evolution because what was that? Point number two going back. Oh, no, that's brilliant. Accelerated evolution, number one. Um, the sun is going to help to shine the light of awareness onto what's holding you back or what's keeping you from evolving to your next level. So let the sun shine by all means. But on a social level, there's a lot of dark and hidden things, a lot of secrets, a lot of smoke screens, a lot of that going on, a lot of corruption. We know that, and we're aware of that, but not everybody in the mainstream is aware of that. The hard Uranus aspects combined with the solar ruled energy, it's going to help to expose secrets. So we're going to see more whistleblowers, and this full moon energy, it's a super moon, so it's a stronger full moon than the average. It's the last super moon of the year. Usually there's 2 or 3 in a row every year, and that's just how the sun, you know, um, connects with the elliptical, in its orbit. It's elliptical orbit. But anyway, we'll say the technical stuff for another time. So I wrote a few little notes. Look for leaks in the news, things that come out that get buried, that kind of a thing. We may hear things about things that we suspect, but we may not know on the mainstream about things about the virus and the medications involved with that, and what the real efficiency is versus what picture that they paint in the media, because they're not exactly the same, and there's some scientific evidence, not right-wing conspiracy theorists, although they're on board obviously too, but actual science. And when we talk about trusting the science, that's a double-edged sword, because part of what's going to be revealed is that the pure scientific process really is not being followed, and some, we'll say, detours are being taken, and this circumstantial evidence would suggest that the profit becomes more important to those in charge than the safety of the people. Again, I'm not saying that this is my belief. I'm just saying that if you look at all the evidence, it would certainly point to that as a possibility, something we should at least be aware of and look into. I'll just put it that way. We may get like an interview of like what's going on with the Trump campaign, what's going on with the FBI raids, what's motivating that beneath the surface of things. And again, this is something I don't know, and I'm not being facetious or trying to evade the YouTube algorithm by saying that. I truly have not looked into that situation to offer you any intelligent commentary on that. Probably by Sunday tarot time, I'll be able to, but there's always more to the story, right? And wherever Trump goes, controversy follows. So we've become used to that, and whether that's planned by higher authorities, or if it's just the dealings of somebody who's got some issues, we'll put it that way. Whatever the point being, yeah. So we may even get some truth behind things like UFOs, aliens, or stuff like that. So that's number 4. Number 5 is disruptions. And of course, a lot of these, 2 or 3 of these I've said before, and others have said the same thing. It's just that again, Uranus is such a catalyst. It's about, part of the energy of Uranus is like explosions. It's like explosive change. It like catalyzes, and it's so prevalent. It's been prevalent for the last few months, but this full moon is really going to put it over the top. So things that have been kind of happening that we've been talking about or stuff like that, I think starting now and going into the autumn, there's some really interesting stuff happening in the autumn. I think it's going to go full steam ahead. So Uranus is often about technology. Mercury is about technology. Mercury's going to be starting to slow down. It's going to start to come into its approach to its next Mercury retrograde. I don't know the date exactly, but I know earliest September, Mercury goes into its next retrograde. That often brings in things like technology glitches or whatever. But you add Uranus energy, Mars energy to that also, by the way. That's even more powerful when it comes to disruption and things. So we may get some internet brownouts or blackouts. We may get a lot of technology glitches happening. disruption in food supplies and supply chain. All that stuff comes into play. I'm seeing, like, again, a lot of revolution, a lot of protests, a lot of blockades. That's what's coming to my mind when I'm talking, like people sort of getting together and blocking things, to make a point, not to like harm people, but to bring the injustices to light. There's a lot of that kind of energy. So I also have a few little things that we can do, a few little exercises for this period. For one thing, this is a great energy right now to channel, like to be able to allow higher intelligences to channel through you. And we can channel through voice, through automatic writing, sometimes just the innovative ideas that we talked about and the very innovative energy can be channeled from spirit also. So these are good energies to learn how to channel, to practice it, and meditate, get present, tune into your breathing, invite spirit in, and just keep talking or keep writing. That's, I mean, there's more to it. So call on your guides, call on your angels to help you with new ideas and innovation. This is not the time to get stuck in the box. We have to be okay with discomfort of change. Change brings discomfort. Spiritual change brings that. A lot of people are going to be having their initiation processes catalyzed by this full moon. Initiation is a death and a rebirth, but the rebirth is into a higher aspect of our own being. The subconscious resists change because it's survival. It feels threatened. So any change is uncomfortable. When we start to evolve, some of the subconscious traumas and dramas that we've suppressed for a long time start to surface. That's why people tend not to meditate, because they get uncomfortable. Because when you stop your thoughts and you relax, then the first thing that happens is things that have been suppressed in your subconscious, things you've been programmed with day after day, month after month, year after year growing up, traumas, all these things start to rise to the surface. So we have to be okay with discomfort. We have to learn how to sit through anxiety, sit through fears, breathe through it, and be okay. Spirituality is not about flowery incense and meditation. It's part of it. It's about digging in the dirt, muck and mire, getting your hands dirty, and being okay with filthy hands, basically. So if you're that child that, oh, mud or whatever, you got to get over that, and you got to be okay with that. So be okay with that. Call on your guides and angels to help. They're here to assist you. We can't go it alone. That's why we have all these helpers with us. We're social animals in the living. We're social creatures in our spiritual lives also. But that's because it's all part of our heart. It's all part of who we are. So do your heart expansion. Yeah, I could tape loop this one, but when what happens when there's accelerated evolution, there's more pressure against it, and that creates more anxiety, that creates more distress. And when we feel anxious, when we feel stressed, when we feel nervous, all that, our hearts get out of coherence. It gets out of vibrational alignment. So do like some deep heart breathing. I just watched part of a video from, what's her name, the astrologer Pam. What's her last name, from Great Britain? She's great. And the way she describes is let the heart breathe itself. God, what's somebody that knows Pam? Some one of you know. You flash her last name, so anybody wants to check her out, they can. She's a marvelous, loving soul and a great astrologer. Why can't I freaking remember her last name? But her first name's Pam. Maybe keyword Pam and astrologer. I don't know. Sorry about that, Pam. Anyway, um, and of course, heart brain coherence. We talk a lot about that. 10 HeartMath Institute recommends 10 minutes a day at a time, 3 times a day. Just sit, meditate on being grateful and being compassionate and being love. Hold that magnified in your heart and feel your brain and your heart starting to connect. It happens automatically. I can even talk about it, and I feel them starting to sing. When the heart feels compassion and you hold that, the heart and the brain are really two sides of the same organ. The heart even has some brain cells in it. So when the heart locks into coherence, so does the brain. When the heart and the brain align, then we expand and we become coherent with spirit also. I have videos that are a little bit more detailed. Teachers I'd recommend on that. Well, Heart Math Institute, Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden are the three that I find that really get that, especially out of Greg Braden. He's very knowledgeable, but Joe knows everything. Okay, so stay grounded. Only surround yourself with positive people, positive energies. Continue the people purge process. In other words, the more we evolve, and other people aren't evolving at the same rate or evolving in the same direction, at some point or another, it's time to part ways with love, with gratitude, with compassion, not with negativity. So continue purging, people. Do a lot of grounding. Visualize roots extending from your base of your spine to the soles of your feet deep into the earth, and breathe that energy. Even better, because it's summertime, at least in the northern hemisphere. Do more barefoot walking, because then you have a direct electromagnetic link with the earth when you're walking barefoot. I even walk barefoot in the woods. I mean, I have my summer feet on, obviously, if I can do that, because the Catskills are very rocky, but I do it. Um, so that's good. So grounding, centering daily. Um, you practice presence religiously. Yeah. Presence is what's going to make all your other spiritual tools work. Aside from Eckhart Tolle and a handful of others, in my opinion, most spiritual teachers do not stress this enough. The way to practice presence is very simple. Every time you think about being present, be present. So stop thinking and be aware of your breath, the body, be aware of everything, focusing on nothing, being the observer, and continue about your business. So it's really taking your meditation practice into the world until something takes you out of it. Then the next, a thought could take you out of it, a distraction from a person, one number of things will take you out of that. Then the next time you think about it, do the same thing. And over time, you start to hold it for longer periods of time and do it more often. The more you can practice presence, the more open to spirit you'll be. The more you'll be able to hear and sense the subtle voice of spirit, the more you're connected to universal intelligence, because you're not so locked in to that internal dialogue, that monkey mind that keeps you locked into your personal intelligence, which is great, but it pales in comparison to the universe, what the universe has to offer. So do your presence now more than ever. The more you do that, the more every other spiritual practice that you work with is going to work for you. It's that powerful. It's that simple. I talk about it all the time with good reason. And the last thing I have to say is, drum roll, get out into nature. Put away the phone. Step away from the phone. Feel the energies of the wind, the trees. Nature restores. Technology tears down our auric fields. I'm not saying technology is a bad thing. I'm just saying we need the balance. Um, and this is such a technological world, and kids are discovering the metaverse and amusing themselves with artificial or virtual reality and stuff like that. But that's not nature. That's not the energy of nature. Nature can heal. I always say, and I'll say it again, meditate in nature, consciously feel the energy. If you practice your presence enough, you can feel energy. There's not a moment, I mean, I'm not always present. I mean, who is that's caught up with this? And spirit reminds me when I'm not present. Every time I misplace an object, I'm like, see, you weren't present. So I train myself also. But when you allow yourself to be open and meditated, like anytime I stop thinking, I always feel energy flowing through me and around me. I mean, and this has been going on for a while. It's getting stronger. Once you start to feel that, you can start to direct it, because the energy, the chi, it's part, there's energy and then there's consciousness. So and they're linked. And the consciousness behind energy is that the energy is nature and wants to help bring you back to nature, wants to restore your balance. part of that is restoring your health. So if you just but allow the energy to flow through you, it will heal you of things doctors can't in many cases. It'll open you, it'll restore you back to your natural state, your spiritual state, and to health and vitality. It wants to do that. There's an intelligence, God, whatever you want to call it. It wants to do that, but we have so much blockage from our social conditioning. That's why you can't just right now, if you haven't done a lot of work, go out and expect it to work. And again, if you start to move energy and things release, you experience discomfort, and that stops most people dead in their tracks. So again, be okay with discomfort. Everything is changing. There's just no normal to go back to, but we can create an even better new normal rather than what they're saying about going back to the old normal being the new normal or whatever. Anyway, that's what I got for you. So I definitely wanted to um, just get this here. So if you guys want to go to the triple alignment full moon video with Sharita, our amazing astrologer and numerologist, feel free to do that. And like I said, I'll pin it to the comments. So tomorrow, before I forget, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, not 7, we're going to be doing channeling with the master teachers and the archangels to help set our energy to get the most out of this full moon, and to help to magnify like the positive points about innovation and about spiritual growth and initiation. So we'll do a transmission to help your energy fields that way. For those that are new, that have never done the channeling with the master teachers, they're beings of, they're not they're beings of consciousness and energy. They're not physical beings. They're not of this dimension. They're interdimensional. So they use channels like me to blend with me, and then they activate my fields, and that helps to activate your fields also. It's powerful work, and we are experiencing DNA awakening, some more than others at this time, in spiritual awakening. They're here to help accelerate that process for you, and to help to do it safely for you, and to help to give you insight. So this work, and again, we're still like in the Lionsgate portal, and you can go back to that. We're still in it. So if you didn't do the Lionsgate portal activation with the master teacher, that's on the channel also. Okay, without further ado, I'm leaving. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I love you, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6.